All right, this is James Newberry. I'm here with Carmon Elliott.
What's your last name?
Newberry.
Yuvear.
Newberry. Newberry.
Yeah, all right.
And we're here on February 8th, 2012. And Mr. Elliott, do you agree to this interview?
Oh, yes.
Okay, well, thank you. Now, Mr. Elliott, what year were you born?
What is what?
What year were you born?
In 1911.
And what's your birthday?
February the 15th.
So
it's only 2 or 3 days off that I'll have a birthday.
So in about a week you'll be 101.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. Now, where did you grow up?
I grew up in Hardin County, Kentucky. Elizabethtown is the county seat.
Yes, sir. And how long did you stay in Kentucky? Where did you move when you grew up?
I stayed on the farm until let's see, when was it I left? I left the farm in May of
Were you still a little boy, or were you a teenager?
I was 22 years old.
Okay. So were you still living like on, where you grew up, in the house where you grew up?
Yeah.
Okay. And were your parents farmers?
Yes.
So what sort of things did you do on the farm?
Well, we raised corn and cane, which we made into sorghum molasses, and then we regrew all kinds of garden stuff. We had a good garden every year, and then we raised livestock, cows, and sold. We had a few sheep. We sold a few lambs every year, and sold the wool. We shared the sheep in May, and then we had 3 horses, which we used to pull the plows, and one of them was a buggy horse.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only transportation we had, was a road wagon and a buggy.
Okay. Now, what were your parents' names?
Silas, S-I-L-A-S, and Rosie, R-O-S-I-E, Elliott, E-L-L-I-O-T-T.
And did you have brothers and sisters?
I had one sister, Glennie. She was 2 years my senior.
Mm-hmm. And
she was 2 years younger than I.
Okay. So why did you leave at the age of 22?
Why did I leave the farm?
Yes, sir.
Oh, it's purely economic. I finished high school, and after I finished high school, I worked off a certificate at Bowling Green Business University. Well, teachers, Bowling Green teachers, and it was good for 2 years, and they changed superintendents, and I just got to teach 1 year. And then after that, in 1931, I farmed with Dad 1 year, and the results were so bad that I told Dad that there must be a better way of making a living than on the farm that we lived on, although we owned the land.
Yes, sir. So you taught 1 year.
Taught a one-room school 1 year.
Did you teach all grades?
Yes, sir. Eight grades.
Describe that experience of teaching.
Sir?
Describe the experience of teaching all those grades in a one-room schoolhouse.
Yeah.
I mean, was it difficult? I mean, did you? I guess you had to know the whole.
Oh yeah. It kept me awful busy to take care of all 8 grades in an 8-hour period, which you had allotted.
But then you left there and went back to the farm and farmed a year, right?
Let's see.
In 1931.
No, I farmed before I went before I taught.
I see. Okay. So you left the farm because you decided that wasn't working out.
After I taught that 1 year, the CCC was enacted,
mm-hmm.
and I joined the CCC, and I was in there for 13 months.
And that's the Civilian Conservation Corps?
Yes, sir.
And that was established under Roosevelt?
Right.
So talk to me about that.
Well, there was 100 and some camps all over the country. And that was the greatest thing that Roosevelt ever did. He farmed, he furnished, although the money was not big, it was a lifesaver during that time. And our company was 547, number 547. They had us slated for California, and they changed their minds and sent us back to up in eastern Kentucky, where it was a camp that belonged to the University of Kentucky, and it was 4 miles off of Highway 15, which ran from through central Kentucky, it went from Lexington to Whitesburg, mm-hmm. up in eastern Kentucky. So it was 4 miles off that highway. And the first thing we had to do was to build bridges. There were several creeks. And so we had to build bridges so we could get to the camp whenever it rained. Now, I've only been back to the campsite one time since I was discharged in they discharged a bunch of us and then hired some more. And that was, I was discharged in I forgot now.
That was it like a 2-year stint or a 4-year?
I was in there 13 months.
Okay. So just over a year.
Yes, sir.
And what were some of the projects you did?
You see, that was a few years after the death of the chestnut trees, you know.
Uh-huh.
They all died. And so it was our job to cut those dead chestnuts and snake them out of the forest. And I don't know what they did with them then. But that was after we did the road work and the bridge work. That was then we had to, of course, we had to build barracks. We didn't have any barracks. We lived in tents until we had time to build barracks to live in.
Mm-hmm.
And it was we had good meals, and we got up at 5 o'clock, went to bed at 10, and it was a good life. Most of us, I gained weight. I weighed 156 pounds. That's more than I ever weighed in my life.
So was it hard work?
Well, it was labor work.
But it was worth the money.
Oh yeah.
And when you left there after 13 months, where did you go and what did you do?
I went home and spent 1 month with my parents. I helped Dad thin corn and for the year. And then I went to Chillicothe Business College, Chillicothe, Missouri. And I took a business course and was out there 13 months. And came back to Louisville and got a job with Standard Oil Company in their tire depot as a stock clerk. And I worked there until about a year and a half later, when I got a better job with Stearns Coal and Lumber Company down in southeastern Kentucky in McCreary County. Standard Oil was a nice company to work for, but I checked real close, and their record of promotion was mighty slow. So I was a young man, and I decided that I could fail a few times, and
Mm-hmm.
So I went to, and that's the best move that I ever made.
And
I got a job as a cashier.
And you said that was was it Stearns?
That was in Stearns, Kentucky.
And how long were you there?
I worked there for 16 years. I left there in August of 1953.
Okay. So, when did you come to Georgia?
I came to Georgia in February of 1937.
37.
Uh-huh.
So I thought you were working in Stearns, Kentucky at that point.
I went to Stearns in February 1937.
Come on.
And I left in 53.
Okay. But did you come to Georgia in 37?
That's right.
So that was your first trip to Georgia.
Yeah.
And why did you come?
A better job.
Okay. And that was with Stearns.
Right.
Okay. And where was that? What city was that in Georgia?
Stearns, Kentucky.
Okay. And what county is that?
McCreary County. Capital was Whitley City, Kentucky.
Okay. Now, when did you move to DeKalb County, Georgia, though?
In 1953.
Okay, and why did you move here?
Why did we leave?
Why did you leave your job in Kentucky to move to Georgia?
Medical reasons.
Okay. And did you come to the Atlanta area at that time?
Let's see. What was the question?
Did you come to DeKalb County in 1953?
Yes.
And was it for another job?
Hello.
Hey there.
How are you?
I'm doing well.
Mr. Elliott. Mr. Elliott,
Who was that?
it's me.
Has somebody else wanted? What?
Okay. So you say you moved to DeKalb County, Georgia in 1953.
Yes. Yes, I went with the company in 1953 after I left the coal company. And so I joined the company in I don't know. I guess it was 53.
Was it?
They were building a transformer plant, electrical transformer plant at Rome, Georgia, and that's when I first went with them. And then they finished along in May or June of the following year. And then they brought me back into Atlanta when I went with the regular plant.
Mm-hmm.
And I was with them about 16 years.
Okay. And then Did you change jobs? Did you take a promotion?
They had a transformation, and they got a controller that was a demon. He was not a man, he was a demon. And he fired everybody and was going to fire me. And I got a chance of going with another job, another company, Wright Brown Electric Company. And I was made secretary treasurer, and I stayed with them the rest of my work life.
So when did you retire?
I retired in 1953.
So you stopped working altogether in 1953?
Yeah, I lost my eyesight. I had to quit.
Okay.
You can't keep books when you're blind.
So you say you went blind in 1953?
Yes, sir.
So you've been blind for almost 60 years.
Yeah.
So what did you do at that point? Like, did you have a?
I was in charge of all the money that came in and all the money that was paid out.
Okay, but were you able to, survive after that without being able to work?
Well, I made it somehow.
Now, did you get married?
I got married before I ever came to Georgia.
Okay, and what was your wife's name?
Mildred Trammell, Trammell.
And how many children did y'all have?
Had two, a girl and a boy.
Okay, and when did Mildred pass away?
They both graduated from college, and they both got jobs teaching.
Your children?
Yeah.
And when did your wife pass away?
My wife passed away in she died in February the forgot.
Okay.
It was in. She died with a heart attack.
And was that many years ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was about 30 years ago.
Okay. So what was your experience during World War II?
I was working for the Coal and Lumber Company.
So you were above drafting age?
No, I was not above, but I was exempted.
Because you were working for an industry that's...
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
They exempted me without my asking them.
So would you have preferred to not be exempt?
Yes, I would have.
So where do your children live?
My daughter lives with her husband in Sarasota, Florida. Both retired. My son and his wife live in Wilmore, Kentucky. Both retired.
And how old are your children?
Boy was born in 47. And Ann was born in February.
In the 40s or the 50s?
40s.
Okay. Now, your daughter, Ann, said that you could name all of the presidents since you were born. Is that true?
I don't know where she got that. I sure can't. Oh, Lord, my back hurts. My back is killing me.
You wanna stop?
No, go ahead.
Well, so you don't? She's just joking about that then. You don't know where she got that from?
Got what?
About the presidents.
No, I don't know where she got that.
Well, how does it feel to be 100 years old?
It doesn't feel very good, I can tell you that.
But does it feel like an accomplishment?
No.
How do you think you were able to live to be 100? Did you eat well? Did you exercise?
Yes, I've just now finished exercising on my pump machine. That might have had something to do with it, but I don't know. I reckon it's just common, ordinary, decent living. And I kept from dissipating. No tobacco, no liquor, no smoking. And just
But so, what did you do after you retired because of your blindness?
well, there's not much you can do when you can't see. I didn't do anything to make a living.
And at that point, did you move to DeKalb County? Where did you live in this area?
lived right here, right in the Atlanta area. I've got a home here.
In Tucker?
Oh no, down on Woodridge Drive off Lawrenceville Highway. And it's empty now, except I'm holding it open. It's locked up, but the kids use it when they come. See, my daughter has a daughter that lives in.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey there. That was your nurse.
What does she want?
She was going to check up on you, but she'll be back when I'm finished in a few minutes.
All right.
So, you were talking about your granddaughter.
She, my daughter has a daughter that lives in Michigan, and they go up there to visit her every once in a while. And it's too far to drive in one day, so they stop and whatever times they want to stay with me, going and coming.
Mm-hmm. So how often do you see your children, other than that?
That's all.
What about your son?
Well, he comes more often because it's only about 500 miles. But it's 550 miles from here to Sarasota. So it's quite a drive. It's an all-day drive.
And so that's about 1,000 miles between your son and your daughter.
Yes.
From Kentucky to Florida.
That's right.
So could you describe your daily schedule here?
Well, we get up about 8 o'clock and have breakfast. And we have the noon meal at 12 o'clock. And the next meal is at 5 o'clock. And that's it.
But you said you do exercises?
Yeah, I've got an exercise machine back here in the corner. I've already gone through it today.
How long do you do it?
30 minutes. 30 minutes a day.
And do you listen to a radio or what do you?
Well, a little bit. I get sick and tired of what they're talking about. I don't waste a lot of time. I usually listen to Neil LaBort's in the morning, and then there's another fellow that comes on at 6 o'clock.
So how do you think that the world has changed since you were born in 1911?
Well, it's more wicked. Seems to me it's becoming more wicked. That's my assessment.
And in what ways in particular?
Well, if going to church is an indication, there's fewer people going to church than ever in the history of the world.
Mm-hmm. And so that's been very important to you throughout your life?
Sir?
So that's been very important to you throughout your life?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Can you tell me how you got the name Carmon?
No, sir. I don't know where she got it.
Well, it's a unique name.
Yeah, it can be a boy's name or a girl's name.
But it's spelled with an O instead of an E.
That's right. I think the E is for the girl.
Right. So why did you decide to stay in Georgia rather than move back to Kentucky?
Well, I had a better job in Georgia than I had in Kentucky.
But I'm talking about after you retired.
After I retired, I never did work anymore.
And you didn't want to move back to Kentucky
Right.
to be nearer to your family?
My family had passed away. They had all died.
And even your sister?
Her sister had married and died, and now her husband has died. They left a daughter, and the daughter is still living. That's the only living relative that I have.
Besides your children and grandchildren?
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. And I hope you're feeling better.
Well, it's a drab existence. Boy, I want to tell you, you're producing nothing, and it's a bad thing.
I understand. Well, I want to thank you for letting me talk to you.
Well, you're quite welcome.
And I enjoyed it.
I don't know what I gave you that would be of any help.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed it just to talk to you, but I appreciate it, and I'm gonna stop.